Welcome back to the Women's Empowerment Podcast. Thank you for choosing us for your listening ears or for your eyes if you're watching us on YouTube. Today's topic is incredibly powerful and potent for a number of areas of health and for overall wellness. Today, we're talking about sleep. Sleep is a critical factor of our health, and I am shocked when people tell me they can function on anything less than 6 hours of sleep, or when people tell me that they wake up multiple times throughout the night or that they are quote unquote terrible sleepers. If this is you, then keep listening or keep watching. For as long as I can remember, I have enjoyed sleep and I'm a good sleeper, air quotes. On average, I am head to pillow asleep within 3 to 4 minutes, which isn't necessarily a good thing. And we're going to talk about this later in the episode a little bit more. But I do sleep deeply and soundfully most of the time. Getting quality sleep is so freaking important because our entire body, our mind, and our whole system need this rest and recovery time. Quality sleep can improve our brain performance, our mood, and our overall health. Poor sleep patterns or habits can lead to increased risks of diseases and disorders, including heart disease, dementia, and obesity. I'm sure you can think of a time when you've had a great sleep and you woke up the next morning feeling refreshed and ready for the day, versus if you've had a really bad sleep and wake up forgetting what planet you're on and how to use a spoon. When I polled our Instagram community, then I asked them, how would you rate the quality of your sleep on average using a scale of 1 through 10, 10 being the best? The average answer was 6.5 out of 10. Being the very curious cat that I am, I needed to do more investigating with our community to really understand their sleep care patterns and their sleep routines. There were quite a few findings that I was really surprised about, and I'm going to mention them throughout today's episode. But first, let's start with outlining what the following terms mean: sleep care, sleep patterns, and sleep routines, because I'm going to be referring to them throughout the episode. Sleep care is the practice of creating supportive routines around sleep so that you can actually reap the mental and physical benefits of sleep quality or quality sleep. Sleep patterns in this episode will discuss the different cycles and the rhythms of our sleep, as well as the different kind of human patterns or chronotypes. We'll learn about those that tell us a lot about our sleep. And then sleep routines, well, while many people think that sleep routines are all about what we do at nighttime before bed, there's actually so much more to them, including how we spend our daytime and how our morning routines also affect our sleep. One of the best ways to upgrade your sleep is by having a sleep schedule, meaning you go to bed and you wake up around the same time daily. Out of the people who answered this question on our Instagram community, 12%, only 12% said they had a sleep schedule. 45% said they woke up and went to bed within 60 minutes of the same time daily, and 43% said they were all over the place. Yikes. Consistency is key with our sleep schedule. While there are a lot of people or gurus who have their own ideas of what the best time of day to wake up or go to sleep is, it will be important that whatever time that is, it has to work for you. Now, I am not a member of the 5 a.m. club. It's not for me. Maybe it's for you, but it's not for everybody. And that's cool. My body feels best when I wake up between 6 and 7 a.m. And there is a blatant difference in my own mood and how I function when I can sleep in until at least 6:30 a.m. And it's not just me that notices. I've heard it from other people in real life and very recently as well. If you're trying to figure out what your bedtime and wake up times are, consider your everyday schedule, like when you start work. And keep in mind that adults need anywhere from 7 to 9 hours of sleep per night. So you can do the math for you and for your own schedule. One of the reasons why a consistent sleep schedule is so beneficial is because it's part of our body's natural cycles known as the circadian rhythm. This is the natural pattern of our body and its functions and processes during the 24-hour cycle or the 24-hour clock. This internal process helps our body prepare for the changes in our day and our environment, such as activity, falling asleep, waking up, when to eat, and so much more. Not long ago, I read a book called The Power of When by Michael Bruce. I'm going to link to it in the show notes page for you, which will be available in the comments of this video. It's all about what Bruce calls chronotypes. Chronotypes are the 4 different types of circadian rhythms. He describes them through 4 animals: a bear, a lion, a wolf, and a dolphin. Bears are the most common of the chronotypes, and they tend to wake up around 7 a.m. and go to sleep around 10 a.m. Lions are known as the early birds, and this chronotype wakes up earlier than bears and tends to be more productive before 12 p.m. Wolves are the opposite of lions. Someone with a wolf chronotype will wake up later in the morning and be more productive in the evening or the nighttime, with a much later bedtime as well. Lastly, the dolphin chronotype is the least popular, with easily disturbed sleep and lacking a sleep schedule. Only 27% of our Instagram community knew what their chronotype was. The others hadn't even heard of it before. And this was one of the findings that really surprised me. And I highly recommend, if you know about chronotypes, amazing, maybe you want to go a little deeper, but I highly recommend checking out that chronotype book I mentioned, as it goes much deeper into your type, and not just for sleep, but for when the best time for working out and eating and taking meetings and productivity and so much more. While this tool of chronotypes is helpful for a lot of the daytime rhythms and when to go to bed and when to wake up, I mentioned before that the circadian rhythm is all about our body's functions in the day and at night. In traditional Chinese medicine, there's something called an organ body clock or a body clock. This organ body clock is one of my most favorite tools for understanding my own body and what it needs, because it shows us when each of our organs is restoring and regenerating. For example, if you wake up at a specific time each night, let's say between 2 and 3 a.m., the TCM clock will tell us something that is going on with our liver detoxification and that our liver might need more support. In our polls and research with our own community on Instagram, there were a lot of people who said that they woke up around the same time every single night. In fact, it was 58% of the voters that said that. So if that's you, check out this body clock to see what your organs are telling you. Part of our sleep care and sleep routines takes place about 2 hours before our bedtime. So if you're someone who has trouble falling asleep, it might be because you haven't taken the time to wind down for the evening and calm your energy for the day. I notice this a lot the evenings that I teach Pilates late. Personally, I'm someone who prefers to work out in the morning or the early afternoon at the latest, because I'm a bear. But I am someone, but we do have a lot of members at the studio who come to Pilates and like to work out in the evenings. And even though I am not doing the physical exercises, teaching these back-to-back classes requires me to be on and alert. And I'm still moving around and I'm talking with people and I'm very much awake. Plus, I close the studio and then I drive about 25 minutes to get home, which I also have to be wide awake for. And by the time I get home around 9 p.m., I don't have much time to wind down. I also have to eat dinner and do the hygiene routine and all of that. Now, that's not every night for me, but it is every Wednesday night for me. So if it's possible for you for as many nights as you can, start to incorporate some evening routines or practices that help you calm your mind and body and help you prepare for the sleep that you're going to have. Eating dinner at least 2 hours before bedtime is a big one. My OURA ring, which of course I'm not wearing right now because it's charging, but I do have a code for my OURA ring. It's about $40 US or euro. If you want it, it's going to be in the comment section of this video. When I eat dinner late, my OURA ring will show me that my heart rate either lowered very late in the night during sleep or that my resting heart rate remained high for the sleep, indicating that my recovery wasn't ideal. And this usually happens when we eat really late because our body is working on digesting food. But it can also remain high when our body is fighting off sickness, when we're going through a very stressful time in our lives, or when we've had a really heavy workout and we need more time to recover from that. If you're looking for a tool to help you with your sleep, I love my Aura Ring. And even though I am a good sleeper, I enjoy the information from this device about my sleep, my readiness levels, and my activity score as well. These three main tabs of the Aura Ring app are so informative at showing us what the body is experiencing with helpful tips on how to improve each of these areas. And you know me, I'm all about tracking my habits, especially for accountability and progress purposes. And the Aura Ring does the tracking automatically for you. So everything from your resting heart rate to your sleep cycles to the number of steps you take every day. It even tracks your basal body temperature, which is really cool for tracking your menstrual cycle. But we'll save that for another day. Speaking of cycles, the Aura Ring also shows you your sleep cycles and how much REM sleep, deep sleep, and light sleep you get each night. REM stands for rapid eye movement. Our REM sleep is important for dreaming, memory, creativity, and consolidation. It's regulated by our circadian rhythm. And yes, there is a new feature on the Aura Ring that will tell you if you are an early morning or a late morning rhythm, etc. It doesn't use the animals for the chronotypes. It'll tell you just early or late morning kind of thing. REM sleep usually happens in the later half of the evening and can be improved by getting a full night's sleep, limiting or avoiding those stimulants in the evening, such as caffeine or alcohol or high intensity exercises. And our deep sleep is the most rejuvenating and restorative sleep stages. During deep sleep, the heart and the breathing rates are steady, our limbs are typically relaxed, and the blood pressure drops. It can also be a lot harder for us to wake up in a deep sleep. Typically, our deep sleep happens in the early half of the evening. For anyone who wants to get more deep sleep, consider following. For anyone who wants to get more deep sleep, consider the following as part of your sleep care and sleep routines: regular exercise, avoiding heavy meals close to bedtime, avoiding stimulants and bright lights about 1 to 2 hours before bed as well. And also try not to take any long naps in the afternoon because this is going to affect your deep sleep. When I talk to more people about their sleep habits and evening routines, the insights of the quality of sleep seem to surprise me less. Generally speaking, the people who have better quality sleep tend to also have a few sleep helpers. And no, I'm not talking about drugs. They sleep with blackout curtains, eye masks, earplugs, a cold room with a humidifier and calming essential oils. These are all really helpful tools or helpers that can improve your sleep quality. And I know many of these have worked for me. Some of the community members who struggle to fall asleep, stay asleep, or have restful sleep have shared that they sleep with sleep sounds on YouTube or headphones in their ears for music or for noise. And some even have a TV in their bedroom. Now, you might be listening or watching this and getting on the defensive about the TV in your room at night. And trust me, I get it. And also, you will sleep better with the least amount of technology in your room at night. Now, this is a process, so it might not feel that way the first night you take the TV out of the room or the first week, but over time, it will improve your quality of sleep to have technology out of your bedroom and out of your ears. Okay. No more AirPods at nighttime. Maybe you don't have trouble sleeping, but your mornings feel rough. Perhaps at this point in the episode, you're starting to piece together where your sleep care could be improved, which is amazing. When I polled the audience and asked, how do you feel when you wake up? Do you need something like coffee to wake you up, for example? It was a pretty even vote between waking up ready for the day to needing coffee to wake up. And for others, it was like they needed more time or a cold shower. In my own experience, I am bright-eyed and bushy-tailed when I wake up between 6 and 7. Before 6 a.m. and, well, This is what I tell my early morning Pilates class, that this is not my best time of day, but this is the best I am at this time. Translation, if I don't have to wake up at 5:30 a.m. to teach Pilates, I wouldn't. But here I am, so this is the best I can do with where I'm. Even on those early mornings when I prioritize my sleep hygiene and my sleep care, I wake up at 5:30 and I'm not a total zombie. Again, consistency is going to be really key here. Consistent bedtime and wake up times. The last bit I want to leave you with today are some ideas to help you with a better or a more upgraded sleep routine. And I want to use specific examples for these super awesome community members who really took the time to share and interact with me during this poll that I did. If you aren't already hanging out with us on Instagram, slide into those DMs. You can find me at Val Levine Life. The parties and the stories on Instagram, and I often use the conversations from my coaching clients and from the Instagram community for content here on the podcast. So feel free to let me know what you think and share any ideas with me. So let's get into those more sleep care tips and tools. I think it was Jess from the water cooler who said that they want to wake up feeling more rested. And a really helpful tip for this is to actually get out of bed within 5 to 15 minutes of waking up and avoid hitting snooze or repetitively hitting snooze. You can start the day with some cold therapy, like 30 seconds of a cold burst in your shower or just splashing cold water on your face to help you wake up right away as well. Amy said, I would like to go to sleep and wake up earlier. And I say to that, Amy, you are on the right track because we can't really have one without the other. And similar to Jess, don't hit that snooze button first thing in the morning and start waking up earlier and also avoid naps in the day. So those would be my tips for you there, Amy. Suzanne wants to sleep through the night or more than 3 hours consistently. Now, Suzanne is one of my clients in the Healthy Habit Membership community, and I know that the evening routine is something that she's working on. Some of the habits that she's incorporating include consistent bedtime, eating earlier in the evening, and less or no wine at dinner, as well as these wind down rituals like baths or skincare routines or reading before bed. So she's already on the right track for that. And I would just say, keep doing what you're doing. And I also know from talking with Suzanne in our Instagram chat with the poll and in our community is that she's also now tweaking a little bit of her morning routine too. So if you're interested in our Healthy Habit Membership community, you can find more information at ValerieLevineLife.com/membership. Amelia says she wants to fall asleep as fast as her partner. The amount of time it takes you to fall asleep is known as your latency. And according to the OURA app, the ideal latency time is between 15 and 20 minutes. And a sign of overtiredness is falling asleep in 5 minutes or less. So your partner could be overtired. Now, typically, I mentioned this earlier, I fall asleep within 3 to 6 minutes, which I mentioned at the very beginning of the episode. And sometimes my Aura ring does say I fell asleep too fast. But I think because this has been something that I have been able to do for years and years, I don't necessarily feel that I am overtired because of it, since it's part of my regular insights, although my Aura ring still tells me that I fall asleep too fast. But Amelia, you can create a solid wind down routine in the evening with rituals or parts of that routine that help calm your nervous system. Things like listening to relaxing music, drinking a cup of tea, meditation, or even putting your legs up the wall before bed. And of course, avoiding sugar, which I know Amelia is working on because she just completed our 21-day healthy habit challenge. Super excited for you. For Joanne, who wants to go to bed at 9 every night, take a moment to set a timer at 8 p.m. every day. And let that be your cue or your trigger to start relaxing and preparing for bed so that when 9 p.m. rolls around, you're not in the middle of a project. Jen wants deep sleep within a few minutes. And similar to Amelia, you can start your evening routine and really support your body in preparing for sleep. And remember, I mentioned before that deep sleep can be improved by avoiding bright lights, avoiding heavy meals, and avoiding stimulants before bed. Kennedy is wishing for no more nightmares for her sleep care. As a very vivid dreamer myself, I know as a very vivid dreamer myself, and knowing that Kennedy is a spiritual human, I would recommend a meditation practice before bed, something with calming the mind, programming positive stories or affirmations, as well as maybe a protective shield before sleep and also around the bed in the bedroom. I had a giggle here when Kaylee said, "Make me want to go to sleep. I love evenings and I don't want them to end." And maybe you have a wolf chronotype, Kaylee. FOMO is real, and I have this too sometimes. And one of my rules or boundaries that I have around sleep is that I must go to bed the same day that I woke up. If it helps, you can tell yourself that there is a beautiful day waiting for you tomorrow, and it needs you to be at your best energetically. Similar to Jess, Carrie wants to wake up feeling less sluggish and shared that she takes a good hour or so to come around. Now, you could try the cold therapy or see if removing those screens and technology from the bedroom and maybe going to sleep a little earlier is more helpful so you're getting a full sleep. Jana says no more 3 a.m. witching hour. Also, hormones in your 40s are bonkers. They mess with sleep. And Lisa says similarly, sleep through even if for 6.5 to 7 hours. Hormones can certainly affect our sleep. When we look at the TCM body clock, 3 a.m. is when our lungs are starting to detox, as well as the deep sleep, the dreams, and the memory are taking place. We could use this as an experiment or to experiment with practices that help support our lungs. Perhaps our dreams are trying to tell us something, or we're working through a memory. For Lisa specifically, notice when you're waking up and use that TCM body clock to identify any patterns. And last but certainly not least, Candace says, relax my brain in the evening to sleep instead of frenzied feeling. The busy monkey mind, working hard at night is super annoying and also very common. When I'm feeling mentally active before bed, I give myself 10 to 20 minutes, and that might be a lot. So you could be 5 to 10 minutes to write out or type out everything in my brain. I usually make a list. Sometimes I organize a list. Sometimes I make notes about the notes, but I get it all out of my head. And after 10 to 20 minutes, it's now time for sleep. Anything left over is for tomorrow. I also tell myself, just focus on today. What can you actually do today? And usually I'm in bed. So the answer is today's done. We can focus on tomorrow's tasks tomorrow. And I know that I will be a better person with quality sleep. On that note, this concludes our special sleep episode. I hope you learned something today about sleep and can take one action to upgrade your sleep routine. Let me know in the comments below this video, what part of your sleep are you working on? What was your biggest takeaway from this week's episode?